The arena on Karos was older than most stars that watched it. Its stone floor was cracked and dark, soaked with the memory of blood, dust, and broken pride. Thousands of alien voices filled the air, rising and falling like a living storm. They had come to see power. They had come to see someone die. At the center of the arena stood the champion of the Dominion. His name was Gore. He was massive, taller than any creature from Earth, with skin like layered stone and muscles that moved like shifting plates of armor. His breath came out in heavy clouds hot enough to shimmer the air. Every time he moved, the ground shook. Every time he roared, weaker species flinched without meaning to. Gore had never lost. Bodies lay near the far wall of the arena, already being dragged away by silent machines. Warriors from many worlds had faced him. Some had charged with weapons, some had tried speed. Others had begged. None had walked out. The crowd loved him for it. High above the arena floor, the judges sat on a floating platform of metal and light. There were creatures of many forms, some tall and thin, others round and scaled, all wearing symbols of authority. Their voices echoed through the arena as one of them spoke. The final challenger will now enter. The gates on the opposite side of the arena began to open. The crowd leaned forward. They expected another armored giant, another beast, another warrior ready to be torn apart. What stepped through the gate made the laughter start almost at once. She was small. The human woman walked forward alone, wearing simple clothing instead of armor. No heavy plates, no glowing weapons. Her dark hair was tied back, and her face showed no fear, only focus. Her boots made soft sounds on the stone floor, barely heard over the noise of the crowd. This was Lena. The laughter spread quickly. Some aliens pointed, others made mocking sounds meant to imitate human speech. Even a few of the judges exchanged doubtful looks. From the human viewing platform, a man named Ray felt his hands tighten. He had trained soldiers. He had seen battle. But watching one person walk into that arena without protection made his chest feel heavy.
"She looks like a child next to him,"
someone whispered. Lena stopped a short distance from Gore. He looked down at her, eyes glowing like burning coals. Slowly he lifted his head and released a roar so loud it seemed to tear the air itself. The sound hit Lena like a physical force. Dust fell from the high walls. Some spectators covered their hearing organs in pain. Lena did not move. She stood still, her hands relaxed at her sides, her breathing steady. The roar ended, but the silence that followed felt even heavier. Gore stepped forward, each footfall shaking the arena. He leaned closer, his shadow covering her completely. His voice came out rough and deep. "You will break," he said. Lena looked up at him. Her eyes did not show anger. They showed attention. "Maybe," she replied quietly. More laughter followed, louder this time. The judges raised a hand, and the noise faded. "Combat will begin at the signal," one judge announced. A bright light flashed. The match began. Gore moved first. He charged forward with terrifying speed for something so large. His arms swung wide, strong enough to crush vehicles. The crowd roared in excitement, certain this would end in seconds. Lena stepped aside. The strike missed her by a breath. The wind from it still knocked her back a step, but she stayed on her feet. Gore's fist smashed into the stone floor instead, sending cracks spreading outward. The crowd's roar faltered. Gore growled and swung again. Lena moved again. No wasted motion. No panic. She did not attack. She only avoided. From above, Ray leaned forward. "She's not trying to win," he said softly. "She's trying to last." Gore attacked again and again. Each blow was powerful enough to kill. Each one missed by a small margin. Lena stayed close, always just out of reach, always moving with his rhythm instead of against it. She listened, not to the crowd, not to the judges, to Gore. She heard the heavy inhale before each charge, the short pause before each strike, the slight slowing when his weight shifted too far. Her heart pounded. pain already spreading through her arms and legs from the shock waves alone. But she kept her breathing slow. Inhale. Exhale. Gore roared again, louder than before, anger shaking his massive frame. He brought both fists down together. Lena rolled forward, the stone scraping her shoulder. The impact behind her shattered the floor where she had stood. The crowd fell into confused murmurs. Why was she still alive? Gore turned, eyes blazing. He charged again. This time Lena moved toward him. Gasps echoed across the arena. She stepped inside the reach of his arms, close enough to feel the heat of his body. She placed one hand against his side, not striking, just touching. Then she pushed lightly as he moved past her. Gore stumbled. Only a little. But enough! Silence spread across the stands. Gore had never stumbled. He regained his balance with a furious roar and turned back, swinging wildly now, no longer controlled. Lena backed away, breathing harder, a thin line of blood running from her brow. From the human platform, Ray swallowed. "She's reading him," he said. "She's waiting." The judges whispered among themselves. This was not how fights went. Strength ruled the arena. Speed ruled the arena. This quiet movement made them uneasy. Gore charged again, faster, reckless. Lena dodged, but not cleanly this time. His arm clipped her side, sending her flying across the arena floor. She hit the ground hard and slid, coughing. The crowd erupted in cheers. Gore roared in victory and strode toward her. Lena lay still for a moment. The pain was sharp and deep. Her vision blurred. She forced herself to breathe. Out. She pushed herself up onto her knees as Gore loomed over her. He raised one massive foot. From the stands, Ray whispered, "Get up." Lena lifted her head. She met Gore's gaze. Her voice was barely audible. "Breathe," she said. Gore froze. The word meant nothing to him. Yet something about the way she said it made him hesitate. His breath caught for a moment, breaking his rhythm. That moment was small. But it was enough. Lena rolled aside as his foot slammed down where her head had been. The stone shattered. She rose unsteadily to her feet. The crowd was no longer laughing. They were watching. Gore roared again, but this time the sound was different, strained, angry, uncertain. Lena stood facing him, bloodied, breathing hard, but still standing. The fight was far from over. And for the first time in the history of the arena, the champion did not look certain he would win. The arena seemed to hold its breath. Gore's massive form shook with rage, but Lena did not flinch. Her body ached from the impact, her shoulder throbbing, a scrape down her side burning, yet she kept her focus. Every inch of her attention was on Gore, listening to the way he moved, feeling the rhythm of his breathing, sensing the weight of each step. She did not attack with force. She attacked with patience. Gore swung again, faster this time, trying to overwhelm her. His fists were huge, strong enough to crush stone. Lena sidestepped, letting his momentum carry him past her. A small push against his side made him stumble, just a fraction, but it was enough to surprise him. He roared in frustration, his eyes narrowing. In the stands, aliens whispered among themselves. This human did not fight like the others. The others had always charged, screaming, using weapons of brute strength. She moved differently. She flowed. She waited. Every movement seemed simple, almost too small to matter, yet each one worked. Ray's heart pounded as he leaned forward. She is not trying to match him in strength. She is matching him in timing, he said quietly to another human observer. Every move is measured. Every breath counts. Gore charged again, but his movements were uneven now. He had never been interrupted like this. Each swing, each step, had always found its mark before. This time he missed repeatedly. Lena ducked under a swinging arm, rolled forward across the stone floor, and pushed against his legs just enough to shift his balance. He staggered. He turned, eyes blazing, his face a mask of fury and disbelief. Lena forced herself to inhale slowly, to let her body recover. She whispered the word under her breath. Breathe. It was more than a word. It was a rhythm. She had learned long ago that power alone was not enough. Patience, timing, control. Those were stronger. The crowd grew restless. Alien spectators shouted, some in disbelief, some in anger. The judges exchanged anxious glances. Something was happening that had never happened before. Their champion, their invincible Gore, was struggling against a single human. The laughter that greeted her entry had long vanished. Gore's movements became less precise. His rage was making him predictable. He swung again, aiming for a crushing strike. Lena dodged to the side, grabbed his wrist for a split second, and twisted just enough to unbalance him further. The massive creature staggered, nearly falling forward. She noticed a slight weakness in his posture, the way his shoulders shifted, the way his knees bent. Small openings, if exploited carefully, could make the difference between life and death. Lena had trained for moments like this, not to overpower, not to hurt, but to survive, and to teach that survival could be human strength. The arena floor trembled under Gore's weight as he charged with more fury. Dust rose, stones cracked, but Lena remained focused. She used his speed against him, dodging, sidestepping, and moving in unexpected directions. She did not attack directly. She let his own power work for her. Each time he roared, Lena repeated the rhythm of her breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Every time he moved, she felt the timing of his strike. Every small delay, every minor misstep she learned. She mirrored him in motion, never in force. Gore's roars became longer, deeper, more desperate. He tried to strike with both fists at once. Lena ducked and rolled forward, letting his arms crash into the stone floor, sending cracks out like spider webs. She pushed lightly against his legs, creating an opening to step inside again. He stumbled, struggling to regain balance. The crowd's noise became a mixture of awe and confusion. No one had seen this before. The human was not strong in the traditional sense, yet she dominated the fight in ways none could understand. Observers from multiple species whispered, "How could she do this without armor or weapons?" Ray leaned closer to the edge of the platform. "It's not strength she's using," he said. "It's understanding. She's using his own power against him." Gore's chest heaved. Sweat and blood ran down his massive body. He swung again, but the strike was sloppy. Lina sidestepped, letting him fall forward a little. She whispered again, almost inaudible to the alien crowd. "Breathe!" It was a strange sound, a soft command against the roar of a champion. Yet somehow it seemed to disturb him. His breathing faltered. His attacks slowed, each swing missing just by fractions of an inch. Lena's movements stayed controlled. Every step was calculated. Every motion preserved energy and exploited weakness. The battle continued for long minutes that felt like hours. Gore, enormous and powerful, was forced to overexert himself. Lena moved carefully, striking only where necessary to shift his weight, to keep him off balance. She did not aim to hurt. She aimed to endure, to teach that patience and focus could overcome raw strength. Small injuries on Lena's body burned, a scraped shoulder, bruised legs, and a cut on her brow. Her breathing was heavy yet controlled. She refused to panic, refused to fall. Every time she whispered "breathe," it reminded her of her own strength. Control. Rhythm. Patience. Gore swung wildly now, frustration clouding his judgment. Each strike was powerful but poorly aimed. Lena used his energy, moving inside his reach at the exact moment, redirecting momentum without force. His own size worked against him. He stumbled, caught off guard by the human who refused to be intimidated. The alien crowd was quieting. Murmurs spread like wildfire. "What is happening?" How is this human still standing? How is she controlling the champion? Even the judges seemed uneasy. The rules of combat had always favored power, strength, speed. But here, patience and control challenged the very foundation of their system. Gore roared again, louder than ever, a sound meant to intimidate, to assert dominance. Lena stood her ground. She was bleeding, tired, every muscle screaming, yet her focus never wavered. Her eyes locked on to the rhythm of his chest as it rose and fell, a metronome of power. Every motion, every strike, she absorbed and responded to. For the first time, Gore did not know where she would move next. His instincts failed. The crowd sensed it. The champion who had never stumbled, who had never been challenged in such a way, was unsure. Lena whispered, "Breathe once more," and this time the words seemed to pierce the massive creature's fury. He hesitated. His next charge was slower. His fists were not as precise. His movement betrayed him. That fraction of a second was all Lena needed. She rolled forward, placing her hands lightly against his legs, pushing just enough to alter his balance. Gore stumbled, almost losing footing. The crowd gasped. Silence fell, broken only by the ragged breathing of two fighters. One massive, furious and confused. The other small, calm, and resolute. From the human platform, Ray exhaled slowly. "She's doing it," he said quietly. "She's making him stumble. She's not just surviving, she's controlling him." The arena's energy shifted. The audience no longer shouted for blood. They were mesmerized, unsure of what they were witnessing. Aliens who had expected a quick victory were now watching a struggle unlike any before. This human, weak by appearance, small in size, was bending the champion to her rhythm. Gore's attacks became frantic, each swing harder but less accurate. His frustration made him predictable. Lena's advantage grew with each passing second. She did not need weapons. She did not need brute strength. Every movement, every subtle push, every controlled dodge was enough. The fight continued, a slow dance of patience against fury. Lena's body ached. Every step was pain. Every movement demanded focus. Yet she endured. She survived. And the champion who had never failed, who had never stumbled, who had never been questioned, was now faltering under the control of a human who whispered, "Breathe." The arena echoed with heavy breaths and the distant rumble of the crowd. Gore was massive, and his power was frightening, but for the first time his movements were uncertain. He shifted weight from one leg to the other, trying to find a rhythm that could crush Lena. She had forced him into a state he had never known. Doubt. Lena's body was sore. The scrape on her shoulder throbbed. Her legs burned with every movement. Her head was dizzy from the strain and the pounding roars. She could feel the fatigue spreading through her, but she refused to stop. She could not stop. She had learned long ago that humans endured pain differently. Endurance was not just about strength. It was about control. Gore roared again and lunged. Lena rolled to the side and pushed lightly against his arm. The force sent him stumbling. He turned sharply, swiping with one hand, trying to catch her. She darted under his reach and used his weight to shift him forward. The crowd went silent. They had never seen a human manipulate a champion like this. The strikes were not blocked. The attacks were not strong. Yet Gore stumbled, his confidence shaken. High above, the judges whispered among themselves. Some looked worried, some were afraid. The arena had rules, and those rules had never been tested like this. How could a human survive against Gore without strength, without armor, without weapons? They exchanged looks, wondering if they should intervene, but the law forbade interference unless death was imminent. And Lena had not been struck down. She had adapted, endured, and was using the champion's own power against him. Lena steadied her breathing. Inhale, exhale, exhale. She whispered, "Breathe," a rhythm to match her own heart and counter the chaos around her. Every time she did, she felt her focus sharpen. Every time she whispered it, she reminded herself of one truth. Her strength was patience, not muscle. Her advantage was understanding, not fury. Gore's eyes burned with rage. He was used to fear and submission. He was used to opponents breaking before him. But Lena did not break. She did not panic. Each dodge, each careful step was a message. The message was simple. Brute force alone was not enough. Humans had something different, something quiet and sharp. He swung again, reckless this time. Lena sidestepped, rolling forward across the stone floor. She placed her hand against his ankle, guiding him into imbalance. Gore's massive body swayed. He tried to recover, but Lena kept pressing her advantage. Each small push, each redirection, forced him to stumble again and again. The crowd could not believe what they saw. Their champion, who had broken countless opponents, was faltering. From the human viewing platform, Ray's chest was tight. He had studied combat his entire life. He had trained soldiers. He had seen tactics and strategies, but nothing prepared him for this. A human, alone, small, bleeding and battered, had unbalanced the galaxy's mightiest champion. He whispered to himself, "It's not strength. It's control. It's understanding." Gore's attacks became frantic. His movements were less precise. He swung without focus, hoping to hit her, hoping to crush her. Lena anticipated his motions, reading every twitch of muscle, every shift of weight. She did not strike hard. She did not attack with anger. She struck just enough to keep him off balance, to maintain her rhythm, to teach patience against fury. Every step she took caused her muscles to scream. Her shoulder burned. Her legs were heavy and blood blurred her vision. But she forced herself to keep moving. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe. Each whisper of that word was a lifeline. A reminder that humans survived by enduring. Humans endured by focusing. Humans triumphed by patience. Gore roared louder than ever. The sound cracked stones in the arena. Yet Lena stood her ground. She moved, light on her feet, waiting for the opening. She did not strike wildly. She did not match his strength. She exploited his momentum, using the champion's power against him, step by careful step. The alien crowd was stunned. Murmurs filled the arena. They could not understand. The humans had always been considered weak, soft, incapable of standing against such champions. Yet here, one human not only survived but dominated, not with violence, but with quiet control. She was small, yet every movement told a story of endurance and intelligence. Every breath reminded the spectators that patience could match power. Gore stumbled again. His confidence, once unshakable, wavered. He could not understand why his strength, his training, his natural dominance was failing him. Every strike was missing. Every charge was off balance. He roared in frustration, and the sound was no longer commanding. It was desperate. Lena pushed herself harder. Her body screamed, but her mind was sharper than ever. Every stumble Gore took was an opportunity. Every pause, every falter, she used to reinforce her control. She whispered, "Breathe again," and for the first time it felt as if even Gore's massive frame hesitated at the word. Not understanding it, but sensing it, he paused, one step uncertain. The arena, silent now, held its breath. The crowd, the judges, the spectators, they watched in awe. They had never seen a fight like this. The champion was not invincible, and the human, small, bleeding, aching, was unbroken. She was not stronger. She was not faster. She was smarter, quieter, more controlled. Time seemed to stretch. Gore lunged, trying to overwhelm her. Lena dodged, rolled, and pressed against his side. He stumbled again, and the movement became noticeable, undeniable. She was bending his massive body to her rhythm. He roared, swinging blindly, but she flowed around him, precise, careful, tireless. Ray's eyes were wide. "She is teaching him," he whispered. "She is showing him that power alone is not enough." The fight continued, a slow, exhausting dance. Lena's body was on fire with fatigue, but her mind was calm, her focus unwavering. She knew every movement, every breath, every shift in Gore's weight. She anticipated, she redirected, she endured. Gore was getting desperate. His swings became erratic, his steps heavy, unsteady. The crowd could see the pattern. Their champion was faltering against a human. The whispers became louder. The judges looked concerned. Something unprecedented was unfolding in the arena. The power of patience, control, and understanding was bending the galaxy's mightiest warrior. Lena's body ached. Pain clawed at her, but she could not stop. Her survival depended on every step, every push, every careful dodge. She whispered, "Breathe again," feeling the word as more than sound, a rhythm, a reminder of human endurance. Each repetition sharpened her mind. Each whisper reinforced her determination. Gore stumbled yet again, slower and heavier with each misstep. His confidence, once unshakable, was cracking. The alien crowd could barely believe their eyes. The champion who had never faltered, who had never been challenged, was being outmatched not by strength, but by patience and control. The arena's energy shifted. The roar of the crowd faded into tense silence. Every spectator, alien and human, waited to see if the human could endure, if she could survive against a champion so massive, so powerful, so unyielding. Lena's focus was absolute. Her breathing, though strained, was steady. Every motion was precise. Every dodge calculated. Every push deliberate. She was small, yet unstoppable in her understanding. The champion roared again, but for the first time, his roar was uncertain. His movements faltered. He could not predict the human's rhythm. He could not overpower her patience. The battle continued, an intricate dance of control against raw strength. Lena's whispers, "Breathe," echoed in her mind as she maneuvered around the massive form. Each step, each motion, wore Gore down. He was strong, yes, but strength alone could not match endurance, focus, and understanding. For the first time, the champion faced the reality that he could be bested by something small, by something human, by something that understood the power of patience. And Lena, despite every pain, every bruise, every aching muscle, remained unbroken, her spirit unshaken, ready for the next move in a fight that no one in the galaxy would forget. The arena was filled with an almost unreal silence. Gore's massive form loomed over the floor, his muscles tense, his eyes wide with frustration and confusion. The champion had never been delayed, never been outmatched, never been controlled. And yet here he was, stumbling under the guidance of a human no larger than a child in comparison. Lena's body was battered. Blood ran from cuts on her arms and face, and bruises colored her skin. Her shoulders screamed with pain, and every step she took felt heavier than the last. But her mind remained sharp, her focus unbroken. She whispered the word that had become her rhythm. "Breathe." Inhale, exhale, inhale. Each repetition grounded her. Each repetition reminded her that control, patience, and understanding were stronger than brute force. Gore roared, a sound meant to shatter the arena and crush spirits. It was deep, primal, and terrifying. Yet Lena did not flinch. She moved with precision, dodging his massive arms, sidestepping his stomps, and rolling under his swinging fists. Each movement was calculated, each step deliberate. She did not attack him with strength. She used his own momentum, redirecting it, controlling it, bending it to her will. The alien spectators could not understand. They had always believed humans were weak, soft, fragile. They had never seen one like this. A single human, alone, was controlling the champion of the Dominion. The whispers among the audience grew louder, spreading from the stands to the floating platforms of the judges. The murmurs were a mixture of disbelief, fear, and awe. Ray, watching from the human platform, felt his chest tighten. "She's not just surviving," he murmured. "She's dominating him. She's teaching him. She's showing him that strength is not the only way to win." Gore lunged again, swinging with fury, trying to crush her with raw power. Lena rolled to the side, placing her hand lightly against his ankle. He stumbled, massive and powerful, caught off balance by a human smaller than his foot. The crowd gasped. The judges exchanged worried looks. The rules of combat had never accounted for this. No one had ever faced a human like this in the arena before. The battle continued for long minutes, each movement draining Lena further. Her muscles screamed, her body burned, yet her mind remained focused. She anticipated every swing, every step, every roar. She matched his rhythm with her own, whispering, "Breathe," inhaling and exhaling, using patience and timing to outmaneuver raw power. Gore's frustration grew. His attacks became less coordinated, more desperate. He had never faced resistance like this. He had never stumbled. He had never doubted himself. But Lena forced him into hesitation with every careful movement. Every push, every dodge, every subtle touch shifted his balance. He roared, trying to regain control, but the human remained untouchable in her patience. The alien crowd leaned forward in suspense. They had never seen this before. The champion was faltering, and the human, small and bleeding, was still standing, still moving with precise focus. The whispers spread. How could a human do this? How could someone so small bend such a force to their will? Lena's body was near exhaustion. Every motion demanded every ounce of strength she had left. Her shoulder throbbed, her legs burned, and her vision blurred from the strain. But she refused to fall. She refused to panic. Her rhythm, her breathing, and her focus gave her strength beyond muscle. She moved with the champion's power instead of against it, using his size and fury as tools to maintain control. Gore lunged again, this time swinging wildly in desperation. Lena rolled under his arm, pressing against his side and pushing just enough to make him stumble. The impact sent him slightly off balance. For the first time, the champion, who had broken every opponent before him, found himself vulnerable, unsteady, confused. The crowd could not contain themselves. Gasps and whispers filled the arena. The champion, thought invincible, was faltering before a human. The judges, who had never questioned the arena's laws, watched in unease. Something had changed. The power of patience, timing, and control challenged the supremacy of strength. Ray exhaled slowly, disbelief written across his face. She is showing them. She is teaching them. Strength is not everything. Understanding is everything. Gore roared again, a sound meant to instill fear, to assert dominance. Yet this time, Lena did not retreat. She moved with his momentum, redirecting him. Each stumble, each hesitation grew more noticeable. He was massive, yet vulnerable. Powerful, yet controlled by a human he could not overpower. Lena's whispers of "breathe" filled her mind. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Each repetition became a mantra, a force stronger than any weapon. She moved with calm precision, rolling under his swings, pushing against his legs, stepping inside when he overextended, and dodging when he tried to recover. She was small yet unbroken. She was human, yet unstoppable. The crowd leaned forward in tense silence. Every spectator, human and alien, could see the impossible, the champion being controlled by a single human. The whispers turned into a low murmur of awe. The arena, once filled with roars and cheers, was now silent, waiting to see what would happen next. Gore's attacks became slower, less accurate, and his massive frame showed signs of strain. The human had turned his strength into weakness, his fury into confusion. Each step he took was measured by Lena, each motion countered by her precise movements. She was alive, bleeding, exhausted, yet in control. For the first time, the champion faced the reality that he could be bested not by force, but by patience, endurance, and understanding.
Lena whispered, "Breathe again," feeling the rhythm flow through her.
Her body burned, her muscles screamed, but her mind was calm. Every movement, every push, every dodge reinforced her control. The arena seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the inevitable conclusion. The champion who had never faltered was now uncertain. The human, who had been laughed at, was standing strong, moving with precision, endurance, and intelligence. The crowd watched in awe, the judges watched in tension, and the human observers watched with pride. Lena's body ached, her energy nearly spent, but her focus was absolute. She had turned the fight into a battle of understanding. Gore roared one final time, frustrated and confused, and Lena moved with calm precision, exploiting his every misstep. For the first time in the arena's history, the champion was faltering under the control of a human, and Lena, small, bleeding, and exhausted, remained unbroken, ready to see the fight to its conclusion. The arena seemed frozen in time. Every spectator, alien and human alike, held their breath as Lena faced the massive champion. Gore was enormous, his muscles strained, his roars echoing through the stands, but he was hesitant now, uncertain. Every step weighed down with frustration and confusion. He had never faced anyone like her. Lena's body was battered, blood running down her arms and face, cuts and bruises marking every inch of her small frame. Her shoulder throbbed painfully. Her legs screamed with exhaustion, yet she stood tall, her eyes focused, her mind sharp. Each inhale and exhale reinforced her rhythm. Breathe, inhale, exhale, inhale. It was more than survival. It was strategy. It was human strength at its core. Gore charged again, fists raised, attempting to overwhelm her with brute force. Lena sidestepped, rolled, and used his momentum against him. She did not hit him hard. She did not strike with rage. She merely guided, redirected, and shifted his weight with subtle pushes and careful steps. The champion stumbled. His confidence wavered. He could not predict her movements. He could not overpower her patience. The alien crowd was silent, stunned. Whispers spread quickly. Disbelief mixed with awe. A human, bleeding, battered, yet unbroken, controlled the champion with nothing but focus and understanding. The judges above exchanged uneasy looks. The laws of the arena had never anticipated a challenge like this. How could someone so small dominate the mightiest warrior without weapons, without armor, without brute strength? Bray, watching from the human platform, clenched his fists. He had trained soldiers, studied strategies, and faced impossible odds. Yet none of it compared to this. A human had taken control of the seemingly invincible. "She is teaching him," he whispered, "showing him that strength alone does not win." Gore roared again, frustrated, swinging wildly. Lena moved like water around him, dodging, stepping, pushing lightly when necessary. His arms, capable of crushing stone, missed by mere inches. Every misstrike, every stumble, reinforced her control. She did not need to strike with power. Her patience, her timing, her endurance made her stronger than Gore's strength. Minutes passed like hours. The battle became a dance of control and fury. Lena's body ached, her energy waned, but her focus remained absolute. She had turned the fight into a demonstration of human endurance, proving that patience, intelligence, and control could overcome raw power. Gore's movements became erratic. His swings lost precision. His stomps shook the ground, yet he could not find a rhythm. Lena anticipated, adjusted, and maintained her calm, whispering, "Breathe" under her breath. Each repetition strengthened her, reinforced her strategy, and kept the champion off balance. The alien spectators could not understand what they were witnessing. Their champion, the one who had broken countless warriors, was faltering. And the human, small, exhausted, bleeding, stood resolute. Her endurance had turned the champion's power into vulnerability. Lena's movements were precise. Every push, every dodge, every step calculated. She did not fight with strength. She fought with understanding, with patience, with focus. And each move forced Gore to falter more, his massive frame unsteady, his confidence breaking. Ray leaned forward, his voice barely audible. "She is human. And this is why we survive. We endure. We adapt. We overcome." Gore roared one final time, frustration and disbelief echoing through the arena. His fists swung wildly, but Lena anticipated each motion. She moved inside his reach, guided his momentum, and pushed in a way that finally brought him to his knees. The crowd gasped. The champion, feared and worshipped for generations, was subdued. Lena stood over him, battered but unbroken. Her breathing was heavy but steady. She whispered, "Breathe one last time," and the sound seemed to hang in the arena like a quiet victory. The massive warrior, once thought unstoppable, lay kneeling, his strength no longer a threat. The crowd was stunned into silence. No cheers, no roars, just disbelief and awe. The judges hovered uncertainly above, unable to comprehend what had happened. A human had defeated the champion, not with weapons, not with brute force, but with patience, endurance, and understanding. Ray's chest swelled with pride. Humanity had proven its worth, not by domination, but by control. The galaxy would remember this moment. Lena had shown that strength was not only measured by muscle or size, but by the ability to endure, to adapt, and to understand. Gore finally rose his head slightly, looking at Lena. There was no roar this time, only recognition. Recognition of a strength he could not match. Lena, small and exhausted, had won. She had endured. She had triumphed. The judges, though hesitant, declared her the victor. Earth had earned respect among the stars. The crowd erupted, some in awe, some in fear, some in admiration. The champion had been broken not in body, but in certainty, and humanity's quiet strength had been revealed to all. Lena left the arena slowly, every step a testament to endurance and calm. She did not raise her hands in victory. She did not shout or roar. She breathed. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe. That was her victory. That was human strength. The legend of Lena spread across the galaxy. Not because she was the strongest, but because she was human. She had faced the unstoppable, the feared and the immense, and she had endured. She had shown that humanity's power was quiet, precise, patient, and unbreakable. And the galaxy learned that sometimes the smallest voice whispered in patience could break the loudest roar.